Okay, so we're kind of ready for masking up of the Spitfire. The build's gone quite well so far, a bit surprising for one of my builds, and considering I did that on video. So all I'm going to do today, well not all I'm going to do today, but what I'm going to do now is mask up our wheel wells. Now you can see that they're not large and they're quite easy to fill. So what we're going to do, we're going to use white tack. Now the reason for using white tack is blue tack has an oily resin in it. That's the best way I can describe it. Now this oily resin gets onto everything and it will leak through and it will leak into your paint and everything. So what I've done, or what most people do now, is use white tack. And we're going to use an old one I used for spraying, an old piece of kitchen tile used for spraying, because even with white tack it will stick to anything in the bottom and getting it out is a pain in the butt. So the way I do it is literally just rip small pieces off in some water. Where is my bits and pieces? There we go. And all I'm going to do is just gently form it in, tuck it under, so that all that's showing are the smaller parts, are the top piece that we need. Now, so you don't have to be too accurate with this method, but all you want to do is to have a nice clear edge around the sides. If it does go through the mask, it's a fairly simple job, just to fill it in, and you'll find you'll have no more hassles. Right, so all we're going to do is just tuck that one in nicely. Make sure the edges are all down, like so, just so that we're all clean. We've got a nice edge around the outside. Now, to be honest, I don't think I'm going to use the white tack on this. White tack is what I'd normally use to mask stuff up with, because the wheel wells are quite shallow on a Spitfire, or on this scale anyway. It's just as easy to use this method. So again, getting it under the, if you've got the room, get it under. Some of the smaller jet, or the newer jets, have different wheel wells. The Tomcat has wheel wells on the side of the fuselage, which I would then use the white tack for. But using this method is quite simple. Someone loves me, and it takes seconds to do, as you could see. At the back we will use a bit of white tack, because there's no way we could get our paper towel in there. And that's that masked up, those wheel wells masked up, ready for painting. You've got holes on the wings for your navigation lights, and this one here. We'll put them in when we finish painting. So now that that bit's done, I'm kinda dry that up a little bit. Now with this part we'll get a little bit of white tack. Don't need a lot, even that's too much. I can make it sticky by getting it warm, and then we're going to form up. Still too much really. to our rear area. Going to tuck it in. It's very malleable, this stuff. It's just like blue tack but without that oily grease to it. Just so that everything's in line and it's all straight. Just like that. So in reality our Spitfire is now ready for priming. Once I dry up a bit. And that's what I'm now going to do. I'm going to get the airbrush cleaned properly so that there's no problems with any spray issues, and then I'll come back and we'll start to prime her up and get her ready to go. Right, hopefully as you can see I've added all the cannons. I put the blanket plates on the other points and we're ready to get some primer down. Now this will be a mainly silver aircraft with a white tail, as is here. So we've got a complete white tail section. Looking at the bottom here, just looking around, see what we got, all looking good. So we're going to prime it in black. Now this will have high-speed silver over it, as all Spitfires were painted high-speed silver and not matral. Although it does say on here it was stripped to natural metal finish and covered in aluminium dope. Oh, okay. So what we'll do, we'll get our primer on, which is going to be black anyway to begin with. We're using ALK 309 black primer microfiller. Again, usual air pressure setting, about 10 psi. And all we're going to do is put a very light primer coat on it. I've already polished the whole model, so what we're doing with the primer is just allowing enough grip for our metallics. Now a lot of people saying that alclad metallics are not easy to mask over. Hopefully I'm going to prove that idea wrong. I don't think they're hard. I've never had any issues whatsoever with them. So hopefully there should be no issues. I've been a little bit sparse with my primer. I don't want it to go on wet. Unlike a lot of self-leveling primers, which this is, it doesn't need to go on a wet state. Well, people have said, I mean, I'm a member of many Facebook pages, and I suppose I read at least once a week someone asking, should I prime, should I not prime? I've always found it better to prime, because I believe that's where your weathering comes into it. And I think this is the first stage of weathering to me, as in doing the cockpit in black again was the first stage of weathering, and so on. But you know, I like to keep everything going nice and smooth, so I tend to use the black for most aircraft on most things that I need to prime up, and it's always simpler to do it like that. Let's have a bit more light on the subject. That's it. And all I'm doing, as I said, is just getting a first layer of paint down. Now you'll see I'm doing a little bit harsher job on the nose area because it has got the black anti-glare. Hopefully you can see this. I've already laid a bit of cockpit grey green down and now gone over the top with black, so I'm reversing what I did in the cockpit so that the green will show through into the cockpit. The other main reason for priming is you can then see what's going to be seen by the main paintwork. Let's put it up on this, that'll be easier for me. Spray, and you get a good idea of what your final paintwork is actually going to look like. I like that sort of way of doing things. You can then repair seams that need to be repaired and so on. Oop. A bit overzealous. Just dry that back a little. I've always found priming with Alclad to be the easiest primer to use. And being a microfiller as well, it's like being a very, very fine Mr. Surfacer, and you just it tends to fill up a lot of the little scratches that may be left by sanding sticks, what have you. With Eduard, you don't really need to worry about the seams. I mean, I haven't filled that top seam at all, and to me, my eyes, it's absolutely fantastic. There should be a seam on the nose where the sides are lifted up, so I'm not worried about that one. So you're able to see any imperfections that you might have on the kit and so on. And again, we're laying it a little bit heavier there because I'm going to mask that up in a few minutes. And I'll leave that black, if you like. So I'm just laying a little bit more paint down than I normally would with primer, and then coming back to the nose on this side because I missed it, making sure everything's covered. Back onto the wing. And we're just gently laying paint down. And getting a nice finish, ready to take the metallizer paints. I mean, everybody knows Alclad. Anybody who does modelling or has been in the modelling area for any number of time will know Alclads are the best for metallics. So what a lot of people don't know is the fact we do mil spec now, which is the enamel paint sets. So if I was doing this in a standard colour, if you like, or a standard Spitfire, we would be using dark green, ocean greys, medium sea grey for the underneath, and everything else. Okay, so the models had about an hour to dry. Didn't need all that time, it was dry in 30 seconds, but having something to eat, what we're going to do now, we've got some 3mm Tamiya tape, and we're going to start it right at the bottom of the windshield. Get it on, this is fiddly. And run it in a straight line towards the nose. Now that's a little bit out. I do like my masking. It's a bit difficult to see here. Let's put it to one side a second. So I'm going to measure the top and go straight across easily, like so. Right, so that's one side completed and ready to go. Now what we'll do, get another piece, same length-ish, and line it up again. It's a little bit above where I want it to go. And line it up with the bottom of the windscreen. Like so, and run it along the cowl so that's all in. And now we've got our demarcation line for the black where the silver's got to go. Then we'll get some frog tape, cut it into smaller strips, like so, and then run that over the top to stop anything encroaching. Cut that off, making sure it's flattened down, and the same on the other side. What we'll do is with this piece we'll just wrap it around the windshield so that the windshield doesn't get any silver on it. And there's a little bit there which we can do with a smaller piece of tape. Like so. Push that on. Another little tiny piece. Across that. Join that at the top. Lay that all flat and down, making sure we haven't got any encroachment on our nice tight lines. This side again needs a little piece put in. Just like so. And then one little piece just to get it sorted and safe over the top. Again, that's literally just to make sure there's no seepage of paint of any description in there. Right, let's get rid of this tape. Get the dust off, as you do. Clear up a little bit. Ready for the next part. The next part is coming in with Alclad ALC or ALC 125 high speed silver. Now this mixture is the paint that was put on the plane in the first place. Just going to make sure that's mixed up fairly well, so look like there's some residue at the bottom. still a little. It's very rare this happens. Like this, that's better. I think we've got most of it. Yep, there we go. Right. So the airbrush is still set. I haven't moved the airbrush from the minute I started. That's ready. I'm just going to work the bottle a little. Check our flow, which is lovely. Now we're going to mist this coat on to begin with. Let's see where we go from there. I was just looking at the... Yeah, that's fine. I can see how that goes. A dead straight line. Blimey. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to have the ailerons a slightly different colour, a white aluminium. We'll go from there. Right, so all I'm going to do is just lightly mist on the high speed silver on top of the black. One coat one way. And we're just going to mist it over to bring out the paint, to bring out the fit. You can see the detail coming through already, and we'll paint the guns, although they will be painted again. That's how hard Alclad is to use. Now, I don't know anything easier than that, but other people say there is. I particularly like this stuff. So again, I'm going to start at the tip and just gradually build it up. Not going over the ailerons too much if I can help it. Just like so, I'm misting a coat on, just to get it on the area. And then turn the model round and taking the paint back to it again, spraying away. Not too heavy. You put it on too heavy, you'll lose that metal shine to it. As you can see, hopefully you can see there the differences, well you can with the ailerons. It looks good. Right, now on this aircraft there's a line, that line there, if you can see that, that's where the white starts. So we're going to paint the fuselage one side first. So we're not putting it down too heavy, just light mist coats, misty coats. We don't want too much on it. Too much will spoil the effect. That's that side. I couldn't see what I got there. There you go. This side's a little bit trickier for me. And around the line. And I made a fool of myself. Forgot something very important. What we need to do is to find that area, take that piece off there. Come on, that's it. Same on the other side, I'll repaint that. So as I said, warts and all, things like this do happen. You just have to fix them when you can, when you realise what you've done. So I'll just put that in and around. Get our airbrush, spray that in. Never know that was gone there now. Same on this side. Now if you notice, I picked that up already. It must have been sprayed. 2 minutes with no issues of losing the paint, your fingers going at the paint, or any issues like that. Nice and neat now. And then we'll turn it over. So I'm not stopped the camera doing this, I'm doing it on the fly. So there's no waiting around for our clad to dry. It does dry that quick. So all I'm doing, as I said, I'm just misting the coats of metallics on. And we're going to do, pull it round, start from the outer wing again. All we're going to do is draw the paint across, not stopping on the actual model. All I'm doing is overspraying it all so that the model itself is completely covered. And then we're going to go down like so. Right. Now leave that 2 seconds that side up. We have the wheel spats and the high speed silver, just like so. I was going to paint this a different colour, but I don't think it needs to be. I like them like they are. So that looks great. And that'll work on the Spitfire, in my opinion. It's done. Just making sure we've got all the little nooks and crannies that need to be painted. And that's it. And there you have one shiny Spitfire. Really nicely metalled up. Get rid of that. And what I'm going to do straight away, I'm going to keep the camera running. I'm going to clean the airbrush out first. It's always imperative, just to clean that brush out, because I don't like things sticking in my airbrush. I don't need to blow it out too much. I just want to make sure that it's clean, ready for the white. Okay. Right. Now, the next part is the tail. The tail on this model is white. Now, I haven't stopped the camera, I've sprayed this up, and I'm straight into masking. I'm just trying to show you how fast Alclad actually dries. I can handle it. All I'm going to do now is follow the demarcation line to there. Bring that over. Oh, sorry. I bet you can't see that, could you? Alright. Just need to pull that over a little bit like that. And all we're going to do, as I said, is follow that demarcation line round underneath, exactly like that. I'm just going to flatten it off like so. You know, I'm not taking the tackiness off this or anything. I'm just going to get a couple of medium-sized strips, run it around. So I haven't took the tackiness off, so this is straight onto the plastic, and a little tiny bit more. So just to protect the metalwork from that end, we'll get our white, excuse my head, which is here. Alclad 30930. So white paint, part of the primary colours. That's all mixed up nicely. Straight into the colour cup, and then wipe. And I guess I could do that. What I haven't done and I should have done was to do the areas and just mark out the demarcation line for the white underneath, which go from there all the way, looking at our lines to there. Okay, that's fine. I can go up there. Again on the other side, I'll start from that line to straight right to the edge of the, what we call it, line. That's not very straight. That's that in there. I'll lift that up a bit, I think. Pull it straighter. Okay, that's better. Right. First piece. And look across. Push that in. Lay a tape over that. That will stop any misty parts getting up there. other side the same. Just like so. Going across the tape, down. Right, with the top, slightly different I think. Get our tape out. And we run again from the navigation light on the wing in a straight line. Need to get my tweezers, lift that edge, I'll take it from the other direction I think, run it up the wall to the point we need it, still too much. We're going to come on the top wing that slightly bends, just like that. So that can go up there, and then same with this bit. Lay it down. Check to make sure we're happy with that. That goes quite a way along and starts to bend in. Okay, that's not enough. That's it. And then bend it round to our wingtip. Get everything covered up. First bit, I'll just lay it on the top. All this is to do is just to protect the rest of the paintwork. We need to push it down at the angle. Got that wrong. That's it. Just bring it round like so. That just protects the paintwork there. I'm doing this a lot quicker than I normally would, so bear with me a little bit. Right in. Push it in with a pair of tweezers just to get it up, and then we can wrap that around, and that even helps protect the rest again. Just pull it down. Right, now this part we tape it across so that that runs parallel and we get the line that we want. Same with another piece of this, and we'll go from there. I didn't realise the camera had gone off, sorry. So I am just in the middle of finishing it off. I said that's just basically all that mess is to stop overspray. So we're just about ready now to get our white bits done. So I'll just clear all this up, come in with the airbrush, which is all ready. Get the paint flowing, lovely. And all we're going to do now, put a light screen of white over first. All the gun barrels are white as well. This is what drew me, I must admit, to this scheme. I love the white. And we're just going to make sure the guns this side are all painted white. And then we'll come on the underneath. Hope you can see this. I'm doing things I don't want to do, like hold when I'm spraying and things like that, just for the camera, to be truthful. And we're just laying the white down gently, hardly pulling the trigger back, to be truthful, and then painting the edges, making sure all the gun barrels covered. That's one side. And then you can start on the other. So we're just trying to get, first coat is a fairly light one, same on the bottom. We're just going to spray up the Hispano and then give a little bit more paint onto the wings, making sure everything is painted just like that. So that's all in, and then we come up the tail. We'll come back and look at those de-icing sections in a moment, and we're going to get a nice light coat on first. Of white, like so. This whole tail area is white, but I've seen a little bit of imperfection, so I'm going to move to the other side. While that dries quickly, and just lay a light coat down on this side, turn her over, and again lay a little coat down on this side. Not gone too horrific with the paint at the moment, so all we're trying to do is get a base coat down. We're not mucking around. Now we'll give it a good coat so we're happy with it, making sure it's all nicely covered. We'll come back to our top part. I'm just going to take that off. There's a couple of hairs on here. See, that's the benefit of using alclad paint that's drying less than 30 seconds. Now we can come back and lay our paint properly down on it so that we get our nice white rear end. We'll come back, we'll just give our leading edges a little bit more white. Block edge, So all we're doing is giving that a little bit more white, just to finish it off, making sure we ain't missed nothing. Just like so. Got a little bit more of that tail. I've got a bit of, what do you call it, mixed match colour. Yep, that's lovely. Right, all I'm going to do now, clean the airbrush again quickly, get rid of the paint that's in there. Through into the pot. I'm going to clean out the airbrush. And I'm going to pray to the modelling gods that I don't get shown to be made a look of twit. And take the masking off, hopefully to reveal no bad spots where the paint's come up after what I've just said, I guess. Right, that's clean. Right, make sure I've got no thinners on me. I'm going to be gentle, obviously, but not, this is me, I'm never gentle, really. I'm taking the masking tape off so that you can see that using alclad isn't so hard as people might have you believe. So far so good. As I said, I'm just trying to peel a little bit extra. Not being over careful, but this was green paint as such, so I don't really want it to leak. That's it. Oh, maybe. I've done this many times and still I'm nervous when I take the masking off. It's out of my hands. So far so good. Hold that down. Right, all underneath, and again just pulling off that masking tape. This is the one bit I was a little bit worried about. That's the paint come off the actual wheel, same there. So I'm just going a little bit gentle. Oof. Right, so far so good. Right, now for our rear area. So I am doing this a lot quicker than I normally would for the camera, so I am taking a few risks here compared to what I would normally do. There you go, and not one single piece of lifted paint, and that's all done within what, 35-40 minutes, I suppose. Now, next job, let's just clean bits off the airbrush. Just to clean her out. It's lovely. We go in with the infamous Alk 600 aqua gloss. Oop, missed the bowl because I'm rushing. Shouldn't really, but there you go. And all we're going to do now is give it a coat of aqua gloss to protect it. We're not putting it on heavy, we're just laying it all over the model just to protect the paint. We'll give that 10 minutes to dry, then we'll give it another coat, and then we'll do about a couple of coats on the bottom. I'll bring you in so you can see it a bit better. You can see it shining away, and then we'll give it some more coats. Then we can come on, hopefully, late either today or tomorrow, and start deckling her up, and see how we go from there.